Last week I talked about this song by Lauren Daigle called Trust in You, and I talked about the first verse. Today, the chorus goes like this. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the waters, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you. Now interrupt right there. Then what? Then what? What do you say? What do you do? What do you hope? What do you pray? Where do you go when all the prayers seem to do nothing and God seems to be far away and slow to answer? That seems like hardcore spiritual questioning. And Lauren Daigle's answer is, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. It's a hard answer. Welcome to the Takeout. I'm Jeremy. I'm the pastor at Community United Methodist Church in North Muskegon, Michigan, otherwise known as communitychurchumc.org. And I'm glad you're here. Let's talk about trust. Let's talk about prayers not getting answered. Let's talk about waiting. I'm very happy today to include some talk with my wife, Tamara. Tamara is a pastor who is now on disability. She's dealing with a terminal neurological illness and wanted me to share that with you. So we have a lot of experience with dealing with prayer and things not turning out the way you hope. But before I let you hear from her, I want you to hear from a prophet in the Old Testament. This prophet, Habakkuk, not a lot of press, not as famous, not a lot of people getting named after Habakkuk, but when I was a teenager, my pastor made quite clear this is his favorite book in the Bible. So, all right, it's great stuff. I'm going to read you a little bit out of chapter 1 and a little bit out of chapter 2. O Lord, how long shall I cry for help and you won't listen? Or cry to you, violence, and you won't save? Why do you make me see wrongdoing and look at trouble? Destruction and violence are before me, strife and contention arise. So the law becomes slack, justice never prevails, the wicked surround the righteous, therefore judgment comes forth perverted. I think he's got some complaint going on. Complaint about the world he's in, about the government, about the society, about... Yeah. And then at the beginning of chapter 2, I will stand at my watchpost and station myself on the rampart. I will keep watch to see what he, the Lord, will say to me and what he will answer concerning my complaint. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision. Make it plain on tablets so that a runner may read it. For there is still a vision for the appointed time. It speaks of the end and does not lie. If it seems to tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. There are some times when it's really hard. There are some times when we're thinking like Habakkuk, that maybe the Lord is not going to show up and justice is not going to get done, and there's plenty of evidence. If you are frustrated with the state of the world, with justice in the world, in America, in Hong Kong, in any country, you are not alone feeling that way. And the Lord will surely do good. I will trust. The Lord will surely show up eventually, but on God's timing, not your timing. I'm not finding it easy. But here's part of my conversation with Tamara. I don't know. What's the first things that you think about as you see those words?
That we all have times when we don't get our way, what we want, even though we fervently, earnestly pray for it. It doesn't happen. And it's really hard.
It is really hard. So, go ahead.
And we have to go through it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great images, especially Part the Waters. I wish I could walk through. I wish I could walk through them, but I can't.
And it's hard. I feel I have to spend time acknowledging how hard it is. There's a lot of things right now in people's lives that are simply overwhelming, and I think they must be thinking, what's God up to in all this? Where is God doing anything? Is God going to help?
Mm-hmm.
You think that kind of thing?
I know what you mean, but I don't think I think it. I already am there. I know that God is helping. I know that sometimes God sits back and lets us deal with our own consequences. But there are other people who aren't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And God seems like a bully at that juncture.
That's weird to think of God as a bully, and how do you get past thinking of God as a bully or God as someone who just says no because I'm God, so forget it?
Mm-hmm. I like that story of Sally Marshall. Years ago, she told me that she got mad at God and said, "Why, God, why me?" when her son died at age 4. Why, God, why, God? And one day she said, "Why not me?" And it changed everything. Because she realized things just happen that are bad things.
Things just happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So God became less of a bully for her that day.
And if God isn't being a bully and making bad things happen, and then what is God up to in the middle of all this? Where is what kind of hope is there? Where is God in this story? If the story is too big for me, and maybe too big for all of us. I mean, I think of some of the stories going around, and there's tropical storms and hitting the Philippines, and just say Cuba. They're hitting America. There's coronavirus. There's all these things. If God isn't doing a bully act, then what is God up to here?
For me, God is helping us in the midst of it, giving us the strength and things we need to see it the way God sees it, just the way we see it. So it's still bad, but like the coronavirus, it's still bad.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see the possibilities in the midst of it.
So for all the folks with chronic or terminal illnesses, for all their caregivers who are sometimes worn out, what would you imagine God is wanting to express to them, to us?
That you're not alone. You always have other people and you always have God. And God is love. God is good. It doesn't get any better than that. To reorient and help us see things the right way.
To reorient
Mm-hmm.
our complaint and say, like Sally, reorienting the word and saying, wait a minute, it's not about me judging God and holding God to some particular standard, but me opening myself up and saying, I want to subject myself to whatever God's up to.
Right. That doesn't mean that she didn't go through hell when her son died. She did. That was real. But at the same time, she did reorient the way she viewed it. And she viewed herself in the midst of it all.
Mm-hmm. This refrain keeps going. After I will trust in you, I will trust in you, I will trust in you. Then it goes to, truth is, you know what tomorrow brings. I'm saying to God, you know what's coming. There's not a day ahead you haven't seen. So in all things, be my life and breath. I want what you want, Lord, and nothing less. I think of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Of course, he's looking at a pretty bad immediate future and saying, nevertheless, not what I want, but what you want. Not my will, but your will. Be done. And that seems like a real spiritual step.
Big time.
I mean, I can't ask a beginner Christian to take that step of saying,
Right.
you know, put yourself fully in God's hands and allow God to, you know, and trust God through it all.
But you can live the example. So when that person is ready, they take a step in that direction.
I've been thinking about Habakkuk. This idea of good things will come, and the whole idea of trusting in God has to be founded in this basic idea. I believe God is going to come through. I just don't know how, and I don't know when. I don't know that I'll recognize it when God does decide to come through. God will anyway. That's hard. What do you pray then?
I think I pray for thankfulness, mostly, gratitude. And those things happen when I realize that God saw a different picture than I saw. I hang on to those moments to get me through the moments when I can't see. Because God has come through before, God will come through again. And there's resurrection, that story. It's powerful.
Tell me why resurrection is the story that you get to there. That's powerful.
Because Jesus thought he was at the end, and he wasn't quite. He didn't know the story would be the way it was, the story of resurrection. And that's new life.
I hope that every person in church has the chance to become spiritually mature. Usually it means living long enough, but it also means taking enough conscious steps and making effort and saying, I have to work on this.
I agree with you, because I think it's possible to not have that kind of maturity happen, to miss opportunities to grow.
Yeah.
It's very real.
Yeah. So this whole thing with pushing, you know, I will trust in you is like saying, I'm going to grab the opportunity to be as mature spiritually as I can, to step beyond what I can control and give myself to something way outside of myself.
Yeah, because the bad things that happen, they're going to happen anyway. And this way we can deal with them the best we can deal with them.
Letting go of every single dream, I lay each one down at your feet. Every moment of my wandering, never change. will try.